Hi everybody, welcome to Retro is Everything. My name is Millie. This right here is an IBM PC 5150. This came out in 1981. This is where the whole PC craze started. What's unique about this IBM PC 5150 that I have here is no disk drives, because this one came with 16 kilobytes of RAM on the motherboard. You can expand it up to 64 kilobytes of RAM. Not the 640K, 64 kilobytes. Yes, you could expand it with cards in the slots, but on board, maximum 64 kilobytes of RAM. What also makes it special is it has a cassette port in the back, and it has cassette BASIC and ROM. When you turn this system on, which I can do right now, I'll just do it from this flip switch here. When I turn it on, it does the quick memory test, and then it drops right into cassette BASIC. And there we are, cassette BASIC. As you can see, the IBM Personal Computer BASIC, version C1.00, copyright IBM Corporation, 1981. 45,020 bytes free. This has 64 kilobytes on the motherboard. When I got this, it wasn't working, it had memory errors like crazy. The first 16K is soldered to the board, and that's where the major errors were. I had to remove all of those chips, put sockets in, and put new RAM chips back in. Once bank 0 was in, and I was able to boot up in 16K, then I slowly worked my way up. Bank 1 took me to 32K, bank 2 took me to 48K, bank 3 supposed to take me to 64K, but it would pass the test, but never start BASIC with 64K in it. I flipped chips around and everything, and it still didn't work. So we're not sure exactly why this will not boot up with 64K, but it will boot up in 48K, and that's where we're at right now. As you can see, we have nice 80-column mode here. It can do graphics. It can do CGA graphics with the VGA card. The monitor I'm using is a much later edition eMachines 17-inch CRT, though it kind of does fit the whole thing if you just ignore this fact it says eMachines and the buttons on the front. And then down here I have a little power switch box called Winners Only Inc. I have no idea where that came from. I found it in the Goodwill. I thought it was cute. And an original IBM clicky keyboard, which is slightly different than regular keyboards in the layout. So it takes some time to get used to it. And up on top here, I just have a simple, dirt cheap tape drive I bought, or cassette deck I bought from Amazon. $23, $24, and a cable I made. What I'm going to show you here is how to use cassette BASIC. And I'm just going to write a little program. I have a little simple hello world. I'm going to run it. It prints hello world. I'll break it. I'm going to save it to cassette. Got a cassette here. Put it in, rewind it back to the beginning. I'm going to hit pause and record and play. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to type save, hello, release the pause so that it will play for a few seconds over the leader in the beginning of the tape. And now we'll save it. Now what this is doing is going to record it onto cassette with sounds. You may hear the sounds when it does it. Or not. You'll hear it when I load it back in. Maybe. I'm not sure how exactly it works, but what it did, it just saved it and says okay. It doesn't know if it saved it correctly, and there is an extra cable I can add on here that's a remote that lets the computer turn the cassette deck on and off, but I didn't put that in yet. So I saved it there. I'm going to do new. I'm going to clear list if there's nothing in there. I'll clear the screen with CLS. Now I'm going to load hello, hit enter. Now it's waiting for the program to come off the tape. So I'm going to hit play, and now it's going to play it. And when it finds it, it will say found hello.b. The .b is the extension it adds to BASIC programs. When it's done, it will say OK. So it loaded it in. I don't know if you could hear it. You probably couldn't hear the click. That was it telling the cassette drive to turn off. But since I don't have that hooked up, it doesn't work. And as you can see, that's the program. So I just wrote and saved a little program on cassette. Now I'm going to try something here. I'm going to try print. I didn't think of this ahead of time, so I have to look up some things. Robin from 8-Bit Show and Tell does a hang on. First off, get rid of those. I don't like those things on the bottom of the screen. They get in my way. He does a 10 print program, which is a single line program that makes a random maze on the screen. So I'm going to see if I can do that right now, just from my memory. For that, so I have to do something different. Okay, I'll just make it instead of it being a 1 line, it'll be a 2 line. All right, so you still got a 1-liner in there. It's just not the same way. Now let's see if it works. There we go. It works. Not perfectly, but it works. So there's my 1-liner maze program. It doesn't work with this font setup because the VGA or CGA font is not 8x8. Yeah, I don't know who you are. And don't you just love it when you have your phone set to decline calls and yet it still rings? Why does it have that setting? Anyways, that's what we got here. So I just made a quick little program there. Now, I'm going to run it again in 40 column mode, and I'm going to see if I get an error this time. This VGA card in here, which I have a replacement for, seems to give an error sometimes in 40 column mode. Oh, it's a little better. Yeah, now we're going to get the effect of the 40 columns of the maze. Yeah, that worked. All right, now let's try something here. I'm just going to save it. Save it as maze on the tape drive. And then we'll load it back, and that's how we'll end this video. Okay, tell it to load maze, hit enter, hit play. Now, cassette decks like this, they're normal and standard for old 8-bit systems like the Atari, the Commodore. The Apple had a cassette deck too. The TI-99, Sinclair, ZX81s or ZX81s, Timex Sinclair 1000s, all those old systems, Cocos, they all had tape decks. Even the TRS-80 Model 1s had tape decks. But not many people ever saw the IBM PC using a tape deck, and yet it could still do it. And just so you know, it's still there. Hope you like this little DOSCember video for December, and Merry Christmas and everything. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe and like. If you have any comments, good, bad, or indifferent, please leave them below. Have a great day.